Hello everyone, this is Vedant Deshmukh over here again with an amazing concept and yet simple concept of IUPAC nomenclature of class 10th ICSE board. We are going to soon have some content for CBSE boards too, but we are focusing on ICSE boards more because they are having their term 2 examinations on their head. Their first examination is on 19th. So we are trying to focus more on their video explanations rather than CBSE video explanations. Tomorrow, I'll be recording a series of CBSE videos and you will be able to get them shortly on our channel, Vigilantes. So let us start with today's topic, which is IUPAC nomenclature. Okay. So now, what is exactly meant by nomenclature? Nomenclature means naming something. Okay? It can be anything. Okay? It can be anything from A to Z. It can be anything, but it has to be named. Okay. So in IUPAC nomenclature, we do the naming of certain types of compounds and carbon compounds. Okay. Now, before actually getting into IUPAC nomenclature, let us just have a brief, explanation of it. So let us start with our basics of hydrocarbons first. Now, what are hydrocarbons, you may ask? Hydrocarbons are basically, you can say, the combination of hydrogen and carbon compounds. Okay. So carbon plus hydrogen compounds are known as hydrocarbons. Cool. So hydrocarbons. Actually, hydrocarbons are divided into three furthermore categories. The first category we have, they are alkanes. Then we have alkenes. Then we have alkynes. Now, what is the meaning of the things mentioned over here? So, alkanes basically mean alk, first of all, though, the word alk means number of carbon. जिसमें you add ene, ane, or ine to get a particular hydrocarbon. For example, methane, methine. Okay, that methane and methane does not exist. So we can say propane, propene, propine. Okay, then we have pentane, pentene, pentyne. So that is what it follows. Now, for particular, nomenclature, we need to learn several things. We need to learn several things. For example, first of all, let us start with alk, which basically means number of carbons present. ठीक है? So number of carbon present. अब इसमें naming कैसे होगा? First, we name it by meth. Second, we name it by eth. Third, we name it by prop. Fourth, we name it by but. 5, we have pent. 6, we have hex. 7, we have hept. 8, we have oct. 9, we have non. and then finally 10 is deck. Okay, 10 is deck and 11 undeck. Okay, this much you need to learn first of all. Okay, this is step 1. Now step 2 is to name a hydrocarbon. Let me just write step 1 over here. Steps to write hydrocarbons. Okay. So step 1 is given in front of you. Now step 1 was actually remembering all these stuff. Okay. Now what is step 2? Step 2 mein, what you have to do, you have to simply learn 3 formulas, which are CnH2n plus 2, CnH2n, and CnH2n plus 1. Sorry, minus 2. 2n minus 2. So plus 2 minus 2. Then beach mein the root form. Okay? The root form is in middle. So you can say CnH2n, left wala plus 2, right wala minus 2. As you can learn it. Okay? So this, just a second. Yeah. So this particular first one is actually for alkenes. The second one is for alkenes. The third one is for alkynes. Okay? Now, once you have remembered these formulas, let us get to step number 3. Now, in this step, you actually have to, combine them both. You have to combine the chemical formula and the name of them. So, what you have to do, for example, if you want to name an alkyne, sorry, you want to name an alkene. ठीक है, तो alkene का जनरल फॉर्मूला क्या होता है? CnH2n plus 2. ठीक है? Now, what is like if it is saying you 5 carbon, so here n ka value would be 5. So according to formula we have C5H 5 to the 10 plus 2 12, C5H12. ठीक है? So that is pentane. नाउ C5 के लिए जब मैंने बताया था कि N5 होता है, ठीक है, तो उसके लिए क्या यूज करेंगे? पेंट प्लस एल्केन बना रहे थे तो एन, तो यू हैव पेंटेन. नाउ अब तुमको अगर ऐसा दे दिया, ये कंपाउंड दे दिया गया, तो तुम कैसे नेमिंग करोगे? ठीक, तो फर्स्टली यू विल हैव टू लुक ऑन टू what is the number of carbon over there. So you'll have the first thing in your mind, okay, it is 5, so it is pent. Now if hydrogen number is twice the number of carbon, meaning that the number of hydrogen is 10, so it would be pentene. Okay, because the general formula of alkenes are CnH2n. So putting N as 5, we have C5H, 2 5s are 10. So we have C5, when N is put as 5 in alkenes, we have pentene. Okay, similarly, if it is twice, it is 2 less than twice the number of carbon atoms, meaning that if it shows H8, so C5H8 would be of pentyne, because the general formula of pentyne, sorry, because the general formula of alkyne is actually CnH2n minus 2, as I have told above. So let us move further. Let us talk about alkanes more. So if you put this as 1, so you get CH4. Similarly, if you put this as 2, you get C2H6. Am I right? C2H6, yes, correct. Then we have, if we keep it as 3N, we get C3H8, so on and so forth. I've provided you the notes. There it is available, the whole table. Now let us move on to alkenes. Alkenes mein, our general formula was CnH2n, correct? Now, using this formula, we will find out the value if there is 2 carbons. So we put N as 2, we get C2H2 3s are 6. We get C2H6. So C2H6, अब इसका naming क्या होगा? 2 carbon molecules was eth plus I'm making alkene, so E. So I got ethene. Okay. Here, methane and methine are not possible because it violates, the tetravalency property of carbon. So it would have, if we try one, no, so it would be making bonds like this, CH2. So it would be making bonds like this. So it is not possible. Okay. Then if we put alkyne में, so we will get C1H2n -2, C1H0. तो सिर्फ एक कार्बन मॉलिक्यूल से थोड़ी ना चला देंगे, है ना? तो in alkynes and alkenes, N is equals to 1 does not exist. Okay, if you want to give the reason, you can on the basis of what I told you just right now, because it would violate the tetravalentic nature of carbon compounds. Because see, if we draw the structure, of C2H6, we would get a diagram similar to this. We have C, H, another H. You get a diagram similar to this, right? With 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double bonds over here. Okay. So, अच्छा, one more thing, अच्छा याद आ गया, एल्कीन में कार्बन कार्बन के बीच में सिंगल बॉन्ड रहता है, ठीक है? एल्कीन में कार्बन कार्बन के बीच में डबल बॉन्ड रहता है, ठीक है? एल्काइन में कार्बन कार्बन के बीच में ट्रिपल बॉन्ड रहता है, ठीक है? So the first bond is called sigma bond, the rest, the downwards one is called the pi bond. It is just their names, ठीक है? The first is sigma, then pi, then pi, ठीक है? Now let us similarly you can name rest of the compounds. Now what if it asking you like, how can I tell अगर मेरे को कुछ पूछ लिया तो, so if you put n is equals to 3, you'll get C3H, wait, 2 4 that C2H8 मिलेगा क्या इसमें? Let me just confirm once. C2H4, yes, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. वही मेरे को लग रहा था, what mistake am I making? You'll have one more carbon over here, and इसमें it would be C2H4. Okay. Now, actually, if I put it as n/3, I'll get C3H6. ठीक है? तो अब ये मेरे को दिख गया. Now I see the number is double, so I'll surely say it is propene, because if we put n as 3, we start the suffix, we name the suffix as prop, then we name the prefix as prop, and then rest of the followed is this. So we have ene. So we have propene as a compound. So propene का diagram कैसे हो जाएगा? It would be something like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Your propene would look something like this. Okay? So it is likewise similar. Now, let us move on to alkynes. So, अब alkynes में क्या follow होगा? Alkynes में I told you the formula. Apply the formula. We have our formula as CnH2n -2 So putting N as any of the number, let's say 2, we get C2H2, 4 is 2, minus 2, we get C2H2. Okay? So that is eth, because N is 2, plus ine, we get ethyne. Now, as I told, carbon carbon के बीच में triple bonding होंगे. So carbon carbon triple bonded, we get one. You get a shape similar to this. Okay? Now, let us move down to functional groups. From here, the actual IUPAC starts. Now, what are functional groups? Functional groups are basically those groups जब तुम एक हाइड्रोजन को हटा के उस ग्रुप को लगा दो, तो it would form some compounds like ketone, carboxylic acid, halides. ठीक है? तो we will discuss one by one what each of the terms mean. ठीक है? Now, firstly, we have to gain knowledge about the concept of alkyls. ठीक है? You may ask what is alkyl? So alkyl is basically a hydrogen removed from alkane. ठीक है? तो if I add it to equation, तो alkane minus 1 electron of hydrogen, sorry, minus 1 H, it forms alkyl. ठीक? तो alkyl का जनरल फॉर्मूला क्या हो गया? अब देखो, यहीं से हम लोग जनरल फॉर्मूला, आई नॉट टेल यू द जनरल फॉर्मूला ऑलरेडी, यहीं से हम लोग जनरल फॉर्मूला निकालते हैं. ठीक है? सो एल्केन का जनरल फॉर्मूला वी हैड, व्हाट वाज इट? यस, इट वाज CnH2n plus 2. अब इसमें से एक हाइड्रोजन आई रिमूव, सो वन हाइड्रोजन आई रिमूव्ड, आई वुड गेट CnH2n plus 1. That is the general formula for alkyls. Okay? So this is how you should derive formulas. Now, next thing we should talk about functional groups. Now, this is represented by an R. Okay? So R represents an alkyl group. Okay? Where again, N is number of carbon or hydrogen. Sorry, N is the number of carbon atoms. Okay? Now, let us learn about functional groups. Okay, what are functional groups? I already told you there are 6 kinds of functional group. So let us talk about them one by one and we will sort it out together. So let me just, yeah. So the first ones are halides. Okay, halides basically क्या रहते हैं? Halides are combination of a carbon compound with halogens. तो combo of carbon compound plus halogen. ठीक है? तो इसका फॉर्मूला कैसे होगा? हैलाइड को हम लोग रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे X से, तो वी हैव XR. ठीक है? इसका सफिक्स क्या लगेगा? इसमें सफिक्स लगेगा एन. ठीक है? सफिक्स एन. ठीक है? तो हैलाइड्स आ गए. अब सी, now we want to make XR which has N equals to 2. So हम लोग पहले alkyl group रखेंगे N is to 2. So we get C2H2 to the 4, 4 plus 1, 5, C2H5. Now we put a halogen over here, that is chlorine. Okay, halogens, as you know, 7th group wale members, those 17 group wale members, those are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. Okay, so if I start the naming with chlorine, so it would be chloro. Okay, if I start naming them by bromine, that would be bromo. If I start naming them by fluorine, it would be fluoro. Similarly, iodine, iodo, and astatine, astatino. ठीक है? अब यहां पर आ गया C2H5Cl. मैंने क्या कौन सा हैलोजन लिया यहाँ पे? I took Cl. So इसका क्या हो जाएगा? क्लोरो इथेन. ठीक है, क्लोरो एथ, क्योंकि 2 कार्बन, then it said कि suffix में ane लगाना है no matter what, so I got chloroethane as my compound. So this is chloroethane. It would look something like this. C2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. So it would look something like this. Chloroethane. Now, moving on, let us make another compound with iodine. So let us put N equals to 6. So we will get C6H2N, that is 12 plus 1, C6H13 I got. I'll add 1 iodine. So I get IC6H13. That is another name for iodo hex, because number of carbon is 6, then suffix ane. I got iodohexane. Okay? Now, let us move towards the second type. They are hydroxyl groups. Okay? So they will attach as ROH. Okay? Because OH is how we represent hydroxyl. Then R, as I told you, is an alkyl. So let us put, and they use the suffix all. All. Remember OL, not AL. Okay? Because AL is the one for aldehyde. OL is the one for hydroxide. Okay? So let us name it. Let us take N as, let's take it as 3. So I got C3. H3 to the 6 plus 1, 7, C3H7 as my alkyl group. Now I'll add OH. So I get C3H7OH, OH, which is prop, because C3, then and then all. Okay? So I got propanol as my answer. Propane plus all, I got propanol. Now, let us make another one. Let us take the value of N as 9. Okay, so I got C9, H18 plus 1, 19. C9, H19. So I got C9, H19, OH. So its name would be non-anol. Now, how? Non, because carbon were 9. Non-an, because carbon were 9. All is the suffix. Therefore, goes the name non-anol. Okay? Now, next thing, I have aldehyde groups with me. Aldehyde. I have aldehyde groups with me. अब aldehyde groups में कैसे bonding होगा with carbon? It would be like this. Sorry. 1H over here. Then it is binding with the carbon, and then R, then double bonded oxygen. So I get it as RCHO. Why अलग-अलग? Because H अलग लिख रहे हैं, R अलग लिख रहे हैं, O is double bonded. So RCHO I have got. इसको उतना देखने की अभी जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, let us focus on N. तो N लेते हैं हम 3. So I got C3H7 again. Now I got C3H7 CHO. If I count it at together, I get C4H8O. Okay, that is what? It is propanol. Okay, they use the suffix ALL, so I got propanol. Now, if I actually draw the structure of this, I'll get something like this: C double O. I have an H over here, and then I have C3H7. So carbon, 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 then carbon. Okay. Then hydrogen, then oxygen, then hydrogen, 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 one more hydrogen. Then I have one more hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. Double bonding is not present. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So C7. I'm really sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Correct. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. H7 it would be. Okay, this hydrogen would not be counted. It would be H7 only. So I have C4H7O. Okay. How? I just told you. Just arrange them in the way they are. So it would appear something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I still think there should be one more carbon. I don't know why. Sorry, one more hydrogen. Still, I'll get back to you if I draw the correct diagram. But this is propanol. This is how propanol looks like. Now, next thing we have over here, we have aldehydes हो गए, we have carboxyles. ठीक है, carboxyles में bonding कैसे होगा? We have RCOOH. So let us try to name it. We get, first of all, let us take N as 2. So I get C2H24, C2H5, COOH. Okay. What is this? I get ethanoic. Carboxyls follow oic acid as the suffix. So it follows ethanoic acid. Okay. Now, the next thing we have with us is ketone. Okay. So ketone में it is done like this. Okay. I'm sorry, something is wrong. Yeah, either R and then again either R. Okay. So we can call it by a name that we call it in IUPAC nomenclature, but I will not tell you now because you will get confused. Okay. So let's just keep it simple. Let me just say that it follows RCOR. Okay. So if I take R as 2, I get C2H5. So I get C2H5O C2H5. Okay. The remaining R could be another R also. Okay. This could be another functional group also, but here we are taking the same one. So I have got ethane, none. Okay. None because they follow O and E as their suffix. Okay. So I got ethanol. Next thing, the last one, we have ether. Oh, sorry. We have ether. Now, how ether binds? It binds like this. Binds like R, O, R. Do notice that ऊपर जो oxygen था, it was double bonded oxygen with a carbon. Here it is a single bonded oxygen with a carbon. I'm sorry, H5CO C2H5 आएगा, ठीक है, बट इधर सिर्फ ऑक्सीजन, ठीक है, एंड इट इज सिंगल बॉन्ड, इट इज कोवलेंट बॉन्ड. नाउ R, I took it as C2H5, then O, then C2H5. This could be something else also. Again, okay, but I'm taking the same thing. They follow oxy. ठीक है, इनका कैसे रहता है कि you name the first one, that means R, you name it something. So, for example, in this case, we have meth, eth, ethanoxy. ठीक है, because an oxy is there, so middle this would be oxy. Then again, it would be ethane. Ethanoxy, ethane would be the correct answer. So we have R, O, R following over here, where OX replaces oxy, then the rest follows the same. Okay? This is about functional groups. Now, let us move towards IUPAC nomenclature. To be very honest, no, इसके बाद ना सब कुछ तबाह होने लग जाता है, ठीक है, बिकॉज इसके बाद से बहुत सारे लोगों को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. डोंट वरी, I'll try my best to explain it to you. It is a relatively easy concept, but if you have interest in chemistry, अगर तुमको interest है in chemistry and you really want to, learn it, IUPAC nomenclature, तभी तुमको ये समझ में आएगा. अदरवाइज तुम अगर सिर्फ ऐसी जानने के लिए पढ़ रहे हो तो इट इज नॉट, ठीक है. जब तक इसमें जी जान नहीं लगाओगे तब तक IUPAC समझ में नहीं आने वाला. Now, we follow the 1, 2, 3 step system in IUPAC naming. That means first is the root word. Second is the suffix. Then third, we have the prefix. ठीक है, तो first part क्या होगा is identification of the parent chain. ठीक है, अच्छा, let me tell you what are parent chains and all first. So we have carbon, 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 a carbon, and a carbon. ठीक है, this is H3, 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 H3 again. See, अब अच्छा, wait, I should and I must take it like this. ठीक है, नाउ यू मे आस्क कि मैंने ये तो सामने बनाया है, हमने कहीं देखा है इसको, ठीक है. यस, यू माइट हैव. इट्स नेम इज 2-dimethyl butane. See how I named it very quickly. I followed the 4 steps. ठीक है, मेरे को भी इसका नाम नहीं पता. I had just drawn it. ठीक है, but it is actually a structure. So I can draw it by myself. But I did not knew the name of it. मैंने अभी बैठे बैठे नाम बताया. And it is correct also. ठीक है. Now, 2-dimethyl butane. ये नाम कहाँ से आया? ठीक है. So अभी इसको हटाओ साइड में. Let us focus on what is the parent chain first. Identification of parent chain. So step 1 is identification of parent chain. So we have to identify that chain of carbons, that straight chain of carbon, or the chain of carbon in a transverse manner too, which has the highest number of carbon in it. Okay? Now, if we follow this rule, that means the longest chain of carbon can be seen here would be either this, the box I have drawn, it would either be this, or it would either be this. Okay? Any one of them. Okay? Now, let us focus just on the straight one because it is much easier to understand. Let us not make a khichdi out of it. Now, step 1 is done. Step 1 is done. We know how to identify the parent chain. Now, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि parent chain टेढ़े मेढ़े नहीं हो सकते. ठीक है? How? अगर मैं एक कार्बन और इधर डाल दूं, इसको मैं अगर CH2 कर दूं एंड सॉरी, इसको मैं अगर CH3 करके इधर एक CH2 डाल दूं तो मेरा लॉन्गेस्ट चेन बन जाएगा दिस वन। तो दिस इज 3 डाइमिथाइल पेंटेन। Just hold on for a second, I'll be right back. Yes, sorry. So I was talking about it is 3-dimethyl pentane. ठीक है? Why? Because I'll tell you in the coming lectures. ठीक है? So let us focus on this. ठीक है? So it can be like this also. ठीक है? Now let us just focus on this one. ठीक है? So step 1 is done. We identified the pairing chain. Now step 2 is to identify the substitutes, whether there are alkyl groups attached to it. ठीक है? So it looks like this. Now there are alkyl groups, तो ये दोनों हो जाएंगे substitute ones. ठीक है? Now step 3 is just a second. ठीक है? So step 1 किए. Now apply the rule. ठीक है? ये आइडेंटिफाई तुम कर लिए, 4 कार्बन मिला, apply the rule. Identify it as butane. ठीक है? Keep this in your mind. Now moving on to step 2, you have moving on to step 2. You identified the I'm sorry. You identified the substitute chains. So you have CS3 and CS3. So you mark them dimethyl. Why dimethyl? Because 2 methyls are there. ठीक है? CH3 meth plus I, alkyl group it is, so meth plus I. We have methyl. Dimethyl meaning that from the same carbon we have 2 methyl groups bonded. So I'll write dimethyl. ठीक है? Now we come to the most important part, which is the position, the positioning of carbons. So we have carbon, 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 and 2 carbons emerging from here. We have to make sure that we name those carbons, we number these parent carbons in such a way that these substitute carbons get the smallest number of validation as possible. ठीक है? So I will name them as 1, 2, 3, 4. So that these substitute got the smallest number, which is 2. ठीक है? If I would have named them like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, इनको तो सबसे ज्यादा वाला मिल गया. That is not it. ठीक है? So it would violate step number 3. IUPAC nomenclature would violate. You have to always give the substitutes the lowest number possible. Now it would look something like, अच्छा, now that you have named that carbon, उससे जो निकल रहे हैं उनका नाम साथ में लिख लो. तो you have given your position for dimethyls. तुमने देखा कि इसमें था dimethyl मेरा, अब तुमने पोजीशन भी दे दिया, तो राइट द पोजीशन एज वेल एज दिस डाइमेथाइल. देन पेरेंट चेन कौन सा है? तो ये है ब्यूटेन, तो ये हो गया 2 डाइमिथाइल ब्यूटेन. अब समझ में आया? सो हाउ वी फॉलो? लेट मी पुट इट इन एन इजी वे. We follow position of substitutes, ठीक है, that is alkyl groups, plus we follow, अच्छा नहीं wait, हाँ इसके लिए अगर ऐसा है इसमें no क्लोरीन वगैरह is attached, ठीक है, substituents में कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं है, तो you can just do this. Substituents आए तब I'll tell you. ठीक है? So we have PR, that means you write the position of the alkyl group, then you write the name of the alkyl group, then you write the name of the parent chain. So according to this, we have 2 plus dimethyl plus butane. ठीक है? क्योंकि position 2 था. ठीक है? We identified the substitutes as 2, so that is dimethyl. Now rest is butane. Let us to take a look at what if अगर उसमें halide वगैरह आ गए. तो let us just take halides. Rest are in your class 12th. अभी के जरूरत नहीं है. So, oops, sorry. Yeah, let us take a look at if halides are added. Okay, it would look something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us say we added a bromo over here, we added an iodo over here. ठीक है, अब halide add कर दिए. ठीक है, now let us see कि यहां से एक कार्बन निकला methyl, यहां से एक कार्बन निकला. Try naming this by yourself. I will give you 2 minutes. जल्दी जल्दी नेम करके बताओ. ठीक है, तो फर्स्टली तुमने क्या किया, आइडेंटिफाई किया पैरेंट चेन को. ठीक है, दिस वन. ठीक है, देन यू गिव द नंबर 1 2 3 4 5. ठीक है, बिकॉज इन दिस केस इट डज नॉट मैटर, बिकॉज जो मिथाइल ग्रुप है वो बीच में ही है, सो इट डज नॉट मैटर. यू कैन फॉलो एनी टाइप ऑफ ग्रुपिंग यू वांट. इवेंचुअली 3p आना है. ठीक है, बस पोजीशन चेंज होगा तो ब्रोमो और आयोडो का चेंज हो सकता है. ठीक है, नथिंग एल्स. दैट इज नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट. लेफ्ट टू राइट ही कर. ठीक है, so you got now. अब ब्रोमो और आयोडो कहां रखें, तो अरेंज देम अल्फाबेटिकली. so you got 2 bromo, 4 iodo, 3 dimethyl pentane. correct? let us check. 2 पोजीशन क्या है ब्रोमो का, इट इज 2, करेक्ट है. पोजीशन ऑफ आयोडो 4, करेक्ट है. ठीक है, पोजीशन ऑफ डाइमिथाइल्स इट इज 3, करेक्ट है. ठीक है, देन पैरेंट चेन क्या है, पेंटेन. लेट अस सी, यस इट इज पेंटेन, सो इट इज करेक्ट. यू कैन आल्सो राइट दिस इन दिस मैनर. 2 ब्रोमो, 3 dimethyl, 4 iodo, pentane. ठीक है, और दिस कैन बी आल्सो फॉलोड 2 iodo, 3 dimethyl, 4 bromo, pentane. You got your answer. So that was it for nomenclature. Let me just recap you the nomenclature, the main part again. So step 1, identify the parent chain. Step 2, identify the constituents and name them. Okay? Then step 3, give them their position so that the substitute receive the lowest number of carbon possible. Then step 4, you write down the name while following the particular system. Thank you for watching. I will get back to you soon with some more explanatory yet fun sessions on chemistry, physics, bio, as well as social science. Thank you.